Hey guys, it's Laney here with Steel Strength Training, and today I want to talk about grocery shopping. I don't know if you guys saw on Instagram, but I did a reel of me going through Aldi and picking out kind of what we eat in a week, and I want to talk through that and talk about why I choose certain things and explain a little bit about the reel. So, in the beginning of the video, you see me go around the produce aisle and pick out produce, meat, dairy first. And so the reason why is because a lot of nutritionists say that if you go for the produce first and the outer aisles of the grocery store first and get your needs there, you are very much more likely to eat healthier. And that's because in every grocery store, the things in the middle of the aisles are going to be your more processed things, your higher calorie things. And so the real food, which is what we want the most of our diet to be, is going to be on the outside of the grocery store. And so that's just something that my dietitian in college taught me, that just shop on the outer aisles first, get your needs, go in with a list, because if you go in not with a list, you're going to pick the things that sound good in the moment. And sometimes that's okay to do with a couple things, but knowing what you're going to go and get beforehand, you're less likely to forget things. You're more likely to pick things that are healthy and things that you need for your family. So, in the video, I hold up two different granolas for my yogurt. So I do protein yogurt most days. So it's protein powder and Greek yogurt mixed together with fruit and granola on top. So I showed two different granolas. One had a very long list of ingredients, and the other one had a not very short, but a shorter list of ingredients. And I showed I think it's called coconut chia. It's organic. It was a cheaper price, and that's the thing about Aldi and why I love it, is because you can get organic things for only like maybe 20 cents more for some things, and some of it's even cheaper than others. So you really have to know kind of what to look for. And so I showed on the video the coconut chia had less ingredients. It didn't have syrups. It didn't have I don't believe it had added sugar. If anything, it was cane sugar and not a lot of it. And then the other one, it was I think it was protein granola. And the protein granola sounds good, but then when you read on the ingredient list, it's soy protein, it's corn syrup, has a lot of sugar. So those are the things you have to be careful of, especially granola, because granola can hide a ton of calories and a ton of sugar. And so I personally do a coconut chia, but then even the coconut chia had 280 or 380 calories per serving. Okay, so if you are on a diet, don't do granola, because that's just adding extra calories. However, it's not bad for you, but even healthy foods, when we're trying to count our calories and stay within a certain range, even healthy foods can be high in calorie. And so if it's something that's not protein and it's just an extra carb to add onto your yogurt, if you don't need those calories, then don't add granola on top of your breakfast. So that's just a little helpful tip. Like, there's different versions of products in the store. Look for this less ingredients, and look for the organic if it's not very much more expensive, depending on your budget style. So, which I talked about organic stuff recently. Organic is the best option, but it's not necessary for every single product, and it's going to be more expensive most places. So I don't buy everything organic, not because I don't think it's necessary, but just because it's super expensive. So you just have to look at the pros and cons at the grocery store. So then I go to the the dairy aisle, well, the produce aisle, then the dairy aisle. And the dairy, I always get Greek yogurt, okay? And I point to the whole milk Greek yogurt. And that's because the whole milk Greek yogurt is going to be more calories, yes, but a while ago I had a post about how whole milk Greek yogurt and whole milk things tend to be better and less processed for you than other things. We've always thought skim milk is the best, and sometimes it is, especially if you're super strict on calories. But the thing with skim milk and no fat things is that they take out fat and then they add in a bunch of other stuff and sometimes even sugar to make up for the texture and the taste of that product. So whole milk's gonna stick to your ribs longer. It's gonna also probably give you more protein in some cases. So the whole milk Greek yogurt is always what I get, not the no fat Greek yogurt. And I started doing the whole milk Greek yogurt, and I noticed that I wasn't hungry as quick and that I can make it till lunch without having a snack all the time. And so that's another thing too. When you get non-fat everything, you're going to be more likely to snack because you're not getting those unsaturated fat, which is the good fat that we need in our diet to hold us over until that next meal or whenever we eat again. So that's just a quick tip about whole fat things. And then as far as produce goes, I always try to get a variety of fruits and veggies depending on what I make. I personally don't shop for recipes. That there's no right or wrong, but that's just my personal conviction, because when I shop for recipes, then I end up spending more and I don't get to go as far with my food. And so I'll just pick things that I know that I can use for recipes. I also don't follow recipes. So that's just me. Like, I will go into the store and be like, okay, I know I use this, I want to use this, and just thinking through things that we're going to eat throughout the week. And then another thing is the cheese aisle. So I get shredded cheese just because it's easier, okay? But hear me out, that's not the best, okay? Shredded cheese is not bad, but the block cheese, in terms of what is healthier, is going to have less preservatives and less chemicals and additives than shredded cheese. And that's because whenever they make shredded cheese, they have to add certain chemicals to make it not stick to each other. So if you have a great cheese grater and you don't mind shredding the cheese yourself, go for the block cheese. I tried it, but it just took too long. So that's just a quick little tip. Also, a lot of people say stay away from cheese. They're like Velveeta, for sure. Don't go for Velveeta. But there are some really good cheeses, especially now, that are healthy and good calories and protein. Dairy has a ton of protein, so go for the cheese. But make sure, look at the protein content versus the fat content whenever you're picking out your cheeses. And then meat. So I love meat. I love it a lot. I definitely advocate for meat. I advocate for red meat and chicken and fish. I think all of those things are necessary in our diet. And so whenever we're in the red meat section, it's very controversial, but I think we can do red meat well. And the reason why is because it got a bad rap for a long time. But I think it has to do with the foods that have red meat in it, okay? So like burgers from McDonald's, that is red meat, but it's not the red meat itself. It's the poor quality and the things that they add to it, okay? So a super lean ground beef, like 99% lean or 90% lean, is great. At Aldi, they had organic ground beef that was on sale for a long time. I think it's 97% lean. And then fish, salmon, tilapia have amazing low calorie and high protein options. And you're gonna get your omega-3s and your omega-6s from those. So definitely recommend having fish in your diet every week. And then chicken, of course, chicken's great. I always have that in our fridge. But I think the problem is a lot of people only do chicken because they're scared of other meats. And I just don't think, and you can do the research, I can send you the research myself. I don't think we need to be scared and only limit ourselves to chicken, because you're missing out on a lot of micronutrients, which I talked about last week, in other macronutrients that are in other meat that we need in our diet. So like beef tenderloin, steak is amazing for you, believe it or not, super high in protein and nutrients. You can get the lean versions. Pork is going to be higher in fat, so I don't think you can ever have it, but just know that there's certain cuts that are leaner and better than others. And then the frozen section, okay, the frozen produce. A lot of people are like, oh, frozen produce isn't very healthy, but actually it is in some ways less processed than fresh. And that's because when you freeze something or when you freeze veggies, it's not going to go bad. But fresh stuff at the grocery store is sometimes more not processed necessarily, but has more pesticides and preservatives because they know that it's going to not be frozen, and so there's a shorter lifespan there, so they have to add things to it. So the whole myth about fresh things being better than frozen is not true when it comes to produce and meat too. So don't be scared. It's not going to taste as good, especially when it comes to certain leafy greens, but you're going to save money and you're going to probably consume less preservatives. So I hope that answers some of y'all's questions and kind of my mindset going through. And we're going to keep talking about that grocery shopping in the future, and I will be coming out with a grocery list soon with kind of everything that I get in a grocery run. And also, like, I get all this stuff in that video for around $120. I normally spend only $100 a week on groceries, which is definitely on the lower end for two people who eat a lot. So if you need tips on how to save money with grocery shopping, I also can help you with that. So hope you enjoyed this video. I can't wait to talk to you guys soon.